Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Espresso with me, Darison Chauskas. Today is the 29th of June 2018, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this last trading day for this week and for June. So we're gonna have a quick look at a few instruments here today. Certainly not all of them, but I'm gonna go through those instruments that I've picked in more detail, so and how we could position ourselves for maybe a possible trade. So but before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content of this webinar does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Also, a very quick reminder of our JFD Brokers research page here, where you can go in and have a look at different analysis that we do on a daily basis. We throw out different trading shoutouts. So yeah, feel free to check us out, guys, and I think you can find something useful for yourself. But for now, let's have a look at the markets. But the first one I want to start from is the index, and the index for today is going to be the NASDAQ. Now, so the NASDAQ 100 here, we can see that yesterday looking at this bigger picture on the daily chart, we can see that we had a nice bounce from this 50 EMA here. We moved higher, we broke through these key levels here of resistance, recently acted as a very good areas of support. So we broke them to the upside, we've closed above them, and of course now it's a very tricky spot right now, I would say, but nevertheless it's a very interesting index to trade, because looking at this bigger picture, we can see that yes, we are hanging around still above this upwards moving trend line that has been running here since the lows of February that we had here, and especially specifically on the 9th of February, and but on the slightly shorter term picture, we can see that we've broken this to the downside, and we've broken this upwards moving trend line to the downside, and of course now we're also below this 21 EMA and we're pushing lower, even though yeah, we tested the 50 EMA. Still, this is looking overall, this is looking more bearish than bullish. So if we have a look at the 4-hour chart here, we can see that yes, and the 4-hour candle closed around here. So we do have some key areas to watch here, especially the area right here, the 7110, or sorry, 7105, approximately there. Now could be a nice area of resistance. Certainly if we see this moving higher a little bit and touching that area, now this is where you probably stay sharp. I mean, if this continues to prove itself as a nice strong area of resistance, then we could potentially maybe take a small short here with a very tight stop loss, just in case if this kind of goes back above and breaks this excuse me, breaks this level to the upside. But like I said, very good area to watch here, very potential good area of resistance. Also, judging by the fact that as I showed just recently, that we are still moving lower, we're still kind of in a more of a bearish short-term trend. So for now, this area here, the 7105, could act as a very good area of resistance from which we could potentially try and short this one, and with a habit, of course, placing a very tight stop loss around here, somewhere around the 7135 mark, which also is marked here by the lows that we had on the 19th of June. So good area to watch. Certainly if we start breaking into the upside, then yep, at least your stop loss is going to get triggered here, but you're not going to lose out on a bigger move here if this moves higher. But if this reverses to the downside, we could start aiming for this 7,000 area approximately there. So the psychological 7,000 area could be a good target from this level right here. It's quite a big of a jump, yes, but judging by these candles that we saw here, I mean, it is possible for this index to do that. So we could end up moving lower towards the 7,000, or even actually aiming for this 100 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. So could be a good trade here possibly. If suddenly this, let's say, doesn't reach that level, the 7105, and it reverses earlier and makes a move below the 7,000 here, or starts moving below the 7,010, well, we could maybe aim for a little bit of a profit here, maybe towards and aim for this area right here at around 69.55 area, approximately there, which kind of coincides, probably could coincide with the 100 EMA here, shown as the green line on the 4-hour chart. So good areas to watch here, for us to kind of become more positive on this one. As when I was talking about the putting your stop loss here around the 71.35 area, now this is the part where probably if it continues pushing higher, well, it could move maybe a little bit higher here towards this 71.85 mark. This is the next good area of potential resistance. So approximately there, of course, and if, slightly above that, we do have the upwards moving trend line. Well, it could end up touching. So for now, of course, the sentiment is more to the downside, but like I said, we are seeing this recovery a little bit here from where we need to keep a close eye on the 7105, because this could act as a very good area of resistance. Let's have a look at one commodity that I've picked out, and that's silver. Now this is a 4-hour chart. Let me just quickly jump into a daily, and certainly we can see that we're getting some reversal here to the upside today. Yesterday, of course, to be honest, this whole week was marked by red days only, and the question here is this what we're seeing today? Is this just going to lead to some more recovery, or is this just the early morning buyers coming in and trying to drive this on higher? Certainly the overall outlook, just looking at this picture, we are more bearish than bullish, because we've broken through this formation here that I was talking in my previous videos, the triangle formation. So for now, of course, keep a close eye on this level right here. Let me just kind of put a 4-hour chart on this one. To be honest, it will be much clearer, and certainly we can see that this area here, this 1606 area, acted as a very good area of support here in the past. Actually, just let me adjust this a little bit. Just looking at the 4-hour chart, this kind of slightly shifted. There we go. So actually, guys, I will probably redo this a little bit, and certainly keep an eye on the 1620, and at the moment we can see that, yeah, I mean, it's pushing away nicely from this. It broke it to the upside today, this morning, and now we're kind of aiming for this 21 EMA here as the next potential area or target. Certainly keep an eye on it, but if this continues to hold, if we can see that the price is going to stay below the 21 EMA, and probably this is where we could end up maybe placing a small trade here on the short side, aiming back towards this 16.020 mark, and of course, if that doesn't hold, we could start moving lower. So if you potentially want to enter a trade here, guys, then be very careful. Of course, have your stop loss in place, and probably at this point I would it would be reasonable to place your stops somewhere around this little area right here, which we had the low at around the 1617 mark, approximately there. Sorry, 1617 mark, approximately there. So good level to watch here. This is where probably the stop loss could go, unless you want to, of course, depending on your risk risk capabilities, let's say like that, and we could eventually put a stop loss here around this lower side of the triangle that we've broken out of this week. So you could place your stops here, just allow a bit of room here for this one, for this commodity, precious metal, to balance, trade around, and then maybe aim for lower levels. Certainly good area to watch here as well, this lower side of the triangle. But this is what I was that's what the reason why I was kind of saying that, you know, the 16.17 level could be a good stop loss, because if we get a nice break here above, then, well, this could start moving higher here towards this lower side of the triangle. Now, keep a close eye on this one, guys. Certainly we could squeeze potentially something out of it, but the first key area to watch would be this 21 EMA, because if we're going to continue bouncing around it and we won't be able to move higher, then, well, I mean, to me this is going to be more of a bearish sign from which we could move away lower from this line. We could end up moving lower here and aiming for this 1620, or even actually towards this week's lows at around 15.90. Let's quickly have a look at the few pairs now quickly. So the euro dollar made a nice push higher here. Just let's put quickly a daily chart. Certainly the news came out, some good news from the eurozone around the migration deal, and this has been seen as a positive from the investors, and everybody started jumping into the euro, and we can see that, yep, we had a nice bounce here to the upside. Today's daily candle is already forming as a nice strong candle, but certainly we can see that it met its resistance at around this 21 EMA. For now, guys, we would probably keep a close eye on this one, because just looking at the 4-hour chart, yes, it is a very strong 4-hour candle, but nevertheless, I mean, we could maybe see a bit of a continuation here to the downside, to the upside. I do apologize. We could see a bit of a continuation here to the upside, eventually touching this downwards moving trend line that you saw running here. It was more clear on the bigger picture, but nevertheless, this downwards moving trend line has been running here since around 19th of April. So we could maybe see a bit of retracement here back towards these EMAs here, the 21 and the 50. Could end up touching those, from which we could see maybe a reversal back to the upside. So a very good area to watch. But for that, of course, for this scenario to happen, we need to see a nice break here below this key area that I'm keeping an eye on, this 116,400. Certainly, if we get a nice break below this, like I said, keep an eye on the 116,150 as the next potential area of support. But if this keep on monitoring the 4-hour chart, guys, if this 116,400 continues to hold, then we could maybe see a move higher here. This is where you could probably, you know, enter a buy position here. And we, of course, having your shorts, your stop loss around here, around the 116.15 mark, and of course aiming for this downwards moving trend line, for a touch of this downward moving trend line from above, which actually also coincides here, almost coincides with this 200 EMA shown here as the black line, and coincides with this downwards moving trend line. So good target to watch, and that's around the 116,950 approximately there. So for now, guys, like I said, keep a close eye on the 116,400. If we get a break here, well, if we get a break here, then yeah, we could end up moving towards this 116,150, where this is where the price could potentially stall for a little bit. But of course, if that doesn't hold, if we start breaking it further, certainly forget about the all the longs, and at this point probably stay sharp and stay neutral, because we could maybe see a move here lower for us to become more bearish on this one, to be honest, or take a short position. We would need to see a move towards this 115,100, and then eventually we could start aiming for a break of this level. But for now, just judging by this current picture, it is looking a bit more bullish than bearish on the shorter term. So keep a close eye on this lower this downwards moving trend line that could be touched, eventually could get touched today, but like I said, at the moment we can see we're keeping a close eye on the 116,400 as a nice potential bouncing ground for this pair. Okay, guys, I slightly talked too much about the a few instruments here, and yeah, I'm running out of time here a little bit, I can see. So let me just quickly touch on GBP USD, which is actually looking quite interestingly as well, and we're seeing this nice push here today. Certainly we got some data, we've got some GDP figures coming out of UK today, so keep a close eye on it, and we could maybe see a push here towards this 132.05. This is the mark that we are keeping an eye on. A nice break above this could lead towards higher levels, but if suddenly this reverses back down, for us to kind of become more bearish on this one, we need to see a nice move below the 130.40 mark approximately there. Sorry, 130.45 mark approximately there. Yep, as yesterday we can see that it acted as a nice area of support. If we get a break here below, then well, this is opening the path towards lower levels, guys. So stay sharp here today, keep watching the news, and as always, keep an eye on the price action, guys. So this is where I'm going to probably wrap it up for this session. I hope you found it useful. I do apologize that I didn't go through more instruments, but at least I've kind of went through some details of those that I found the most interesting for today. So yeah, guys, please join me later on today at my Traders Tea Time at 13:15 GMT, 14:15 British Summer Time. But for now, thank you very much, and bye-bye.